So I'm a little kid when the Soviet Union falls. That was great. By the time I'm a teenager, I'm looking at the Clinton foreign policy, which included war. Then we get George W. Bush, obviously very, very bad in terms of the Middle East invasion. Then we get Barack Obama.
Lying about Iraq.
Absolutely.
Lying about Iraq.
Obama does the same thing. All of my friends are telling me Obama's going to be the guy to end these wars.
I thought he was, but
he certainly was not.
Look at Syria. It's a mess.
Absolutely. More troops in Afghanistan.
And now they want to expand what's going on in Ukraine. I think their effort and their mission is to march us into World War III. And we're putting hundreds of billions of our hard-earned treasure. We certainly could use it on our streets right now. We could use it to help secure our border. It would cost a fraction of what we're spending in Ukraine. And the fastest way to end that conflict is to turn off the money and force these two men to the negotiating table to negotiate peace.
Boris Johnson stopped that from happening because the West is of the mindset that it's all or nothing. We win or nothing. And nothing means annihilation. I think of this in terms of...
There's no winning in that. There's no winning.
No, right.
And I think Caitlin said, do you want Ukraine to lose? Trump's like, that. Well, there is no winner and loser in war.
You want Ukraine to win the war. And Trump's like, I want people to stop dying.
Yeah, we want to stop the war. We want to stop the war.
I've been loving the poker analogies.
Because there's no winner or loser right now.
Right.
There's the Ukrainian people are
no matter what
suffering.
Happens. Yeah, like the best thing for everybody is ending this war. But you have people who are proud or indoctrinated. But I've been using a lot of poker analogies lately because I've been playing quite a bit. And I love this. You watch professional poker players and you can see what cards they have. And you can tell one of these guys is going to lose. The other guy is going to win. But that guy who's going to lose is convinced he's going to win. So he takes everything he's got and he shoves it in. And the commentator's going, no, oh, he's walking. That's how I feel with Ukraine. That the West is in a no-win scenario, but they are determined, no matter what, to just put it all on the line.
Pushing all the chips in.
And Trump is saying, fold the hand, live another day. Drop the cards, keep what you got. You're not happy about it, right? You lose the pot, but you get to keep playing.
I'm not even sure that, I wish it were that innocent that they think, well, we're going to win this. I think there's an effort to continue a war, to continue feeding the belly of the war machine.
The military-industrial complex wants to get paid.
Complex. They got to. There's too much money on the line. Yep. There's too much money in defense contracts. And, I think military-industrial complex and big pharma are the biggest threats to humanity.
I agree.
To our safety and security. And no one can talk about that.
And you've got...
You can't hear. I mean, I hope we don't get taken down for talking about that.
It's just how you criticize them, right? But you've got... the military-industrial complex we can rag on all day. There's really nothing they can do about that.
They haven't started to censor us on that yet.
They will, though. They will. So right now you have that story about the drone attempt on Putin's life. The two drones flew over the Kremlin. They blew him up. Was it a false flag? Is Putin lying? We don't know. Putin says, Russia says it was the U.S. that did it. A former CIA official said this is U.S. all over it. If Putin decides to escalate in such a way that he says the U.S. tried to take my life and the U.S. formally joins the war, if NATO formally joins the war in Ukraine against Russia, YouTube will outright issue a new rule saying lying about U.S. war efforts in Ukraine is a bannable offense. And then when you factually report it, they'll take you down.
You're absolutely right. And this is the march into World War III.
Yep.
And it's not being done happenstance. Oh, oops. There is an effort to do this. This is why the people of Hungary are so opposed to the war. And they're trying to offer...
They're in a firing line.
They're trying to offer their country, Budapest, their city, capital city, as a place for peace talks. And the rest of Europe doesn't want it. They're the ones who are going to be closest to the action.
Yep.
And there's just it's very, very concerning. And this is why, I was talking a little bit, the culture war is absolutely huge, and I've been all over it for a long time. But while we are so busy talking about the culture war, which is massive, we need almost more hours in the day to cover all the craziness. While this is all keeping us very busy, we are being marched into World War III.
Yep.
We're watching our economy collapse. It's going to collapse. I predict our economy is going to collapse.
Maybe in a few months.
Maybe. This can happen very quickly. And so we're not paying attention to that. And we're watching an invasion at our border, completely destabilizing our country. We're going to be spiraling into complete chaos. And we're really worked up over a lot of things in the cultural war, which are important, but it's a lot easier to spend time for these news networks to spend time covering that ad nauseum because they don't want to cover what's happening in Ukraine.
Are you familiar with Thucydides' trap?
No.
This is it's a reference to whenever a dominant economic power is about to be displaced by a rising economic power, war breaks out. It's a tendency, not a law, meaning I think out of 16 historical moments, 12 have resulted in war. So there's a fear that the U.S. will go to war with China because China is very close. I think their economy right now is at 17 trillion to the U.S.'s 23. And with Biden's policies, it went from like China will supplant the U.S. by 2036 to 2028. It's rapidly sped up. So I wonder if one of the reasons we are seeing the border collapse, the economy collapse, the reason why you see the Bidens going for Chinese investments. I'm not saying it's true or I know, but you put these pieces together and you're starting to get a hint of powerful establishment interests are investing in China and have been for decades because perhaps they're preparing to tank the U.S. on purpose, in their minds, preventing war, and then putting all their money in China as a safety net. So when China rises, they're rich. Basically, their view is if we keep investing in the U.S., war will break out, or there's a high chance that it will. Our best bet is to intentionally destroy America and move all of our finances to China in the process. So that way America falls, there's no war, and then we're rich in China. I have to wonder why it is that Hunter Biden flies to China for private equity deals, and at the same time, Joe Biden's policies are destroying this country.
That's true. And
whether it's intentional or not, whether Joe Biden did it on purpose, the end result that I see is the U.S. will fall, China's economy will rise, and Joe Biden's family benefits from it.
Absolutely. And why are they not behind bars right now? Honest to God, if that was the Trumps, they would be.
Absolutely.
They would be. It's really concerning because that was ignored going into the last election. We know for a fact they were taking money from the CCP and CCP interests and Ukraine, and they have interest over there. Isn't that interesting? Those are where the two hot spots are right now.
When
the CCP is working to destabilize our country. They're buying farmland. They're buying property. And Joe Biden, I call him feeble. I think this has all been intentional. He's an America last president. He's a China first president. And I believe he's one of the best partners that the cartels have on the border.
Well, Kari, it is unfair to call Joe Biden feeble. It is unfair because feeble still implies he has some capability. Okay, this man is so out of it that, and also intentional, absolutely unfair. This man has no intentions at all. He's completely gone.
He's gone.
There's someone else. No, I think that...
well, he says the smartest man he knows is Hunter. Maybe Hunter's controlling it all.
Right. Obviously, I'm kidding.
Who's in charge of Joe Biden? He does seem to be faltering even more. He can't figure out how to get off the stage. He can't find the door.
Exactly.
It's really sad what's going on. With
feeble implies the old man walking down the stairs. Joe Biden can't find the stairs.
That's right.
So it's like,
or walk up them.
In all seriousness, I think part of it, I thought this for a while. I'm not saying it's 100%. I think you've got people surrounding him who are doing whatever they want. Their attitude is more so the Titanic has hit the iceberg with Joe Biden. So we better start taking the fine china and getting the lifeboat ready while Biden spins in circles confused.
Yeah, take what we can and try to come out on the other side.
Yeah.
As part of the haves, not the have-nots. I think this is why it's so critical the next year and a half, Tim, that we fight for what we have in this country. We can turn this around. Our Constitution, they would love nothing more than to push this globalist agenda. We're all just one big globalist blob. We lose our culture. I want to see 190 countries with strong leaders.
Yes.
I've mentioned this before, strong leaders who protect their citizens, who protect their culture. You go to England. They were asking me, we were in England recently, and they said, what'd you think of the coronation? I said, no, look, the monarchy's not for us. Thank God. We threw off the shackles of the monarchy, nearly 250 years ago. But I'm really enjoying the culture while I'm visiting. I didn't come to England to see, Saudi Arabia. You go to Saudi Arabia to see Saudi Arabia. You come to America and you want
Flavor.
American culture.
I went to
And the globalism, they want to end all that. They want to take our culture away. They want to take our history away. They want to topple our statues. They want us to forget our history so we don't know where we came from. If you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. And they want to make life just meaningless.